Now let's talk about tenancy in common, often abbreviated as TIC. This is one of the most common forms of ownership, and very often it's not chosen intentionally. What is tenancy in common? Tenancy in common means two or more people own the property together. Each owner holds a separate, undivided interest. Ownership percentages may be equal or unequal, and there are no survivorship rights. Each owner's interest is their own. Tenancy in common is the default form of co-ownership. In many jurisdictions, including Nevada, if a deed names multiple grantees and does not clearly state survivorship, the law will generally presume this is a tenancy in common, even when no one intended it. What happens at death? This is the most important distinction. When an owner in a tenancy in common dies, their interest does not pass to the other owners. Their interest becomes part of their estate. It passes under a will, a trust, a TOD deed, or probate law. This can result in new co-owners, heirs owning property together with unrelated people, and required probate proceedings. Unequal ownership interests. Tenancy in common allows unequal ownership percentages, separate transfers of individual interests, and independent estate planning. For example, one owner may hold 70% while the other holds 30%. These percentages must be clearly stated in the deed to avoid ambiguity. Rights of tenants in common. Each tenant in common generally has the right to transfer their interest, mortgage their interest, and leave their interest to heirs. They cannot transfer or encumber more than their own. Tenancy in common often arises when survivorship language is omitted, after joint tenancy is broken, in inherited property, and in business or investment properties. Sometimes intentionally, but often unintentionally. Tenancy in common appears frequently. Understanding it helps you recognize when survivorship is missing, avoid accidental probate consequences, and draft clearer deeds that reflect stated intent. As a document preparer, you may reflect tenancy in common when directed. You may explain its basic features, but you may not advise clients on estate planning outcomes. If a client is unsure whether they want survivorship, that decision requires legal advice. Tenancy in common is flexible, but it does not avoid probate. When survivorship is missing, in the next module, we'll talk about community property and community property with rights of survivorship, and why those forms of ownership are uniquely important for married couples in Nevada.
This video is provided for general educational purposes only. It is not legal advice, and it does not take the place of advice from a qualified attorney. Laws and requirements vary by jurisdiction and by individual circumstances, and watching this video does not create an attorney-client relationship with Nevada Counsel. If you need guidance about your specific situation, you should consult a licensed attorney in your jurisdiction. Thanks for learning with us.